Where's the story? Just remind me when it comes to 5 o'clock to leave.
Yeah, where are you guys at?
We're at as follows. Avshalom has been killed. Oh, shock. Horror. Okay, he was killed against the orders, explicit orders of David HaMelech. To go easy on him. That's how David commanded he gave instructions to his commanders. But Yoav ignored the instructions of David to go easy with Avshalom. He was killed and thrown into a pit in the forest, and then the war came to an end. Then there was a discussion about who would go and tell David the news. Originally, Achimath, son of Tzadok, wanted to tell David the news, and Yoav discouraged him because he said, today is a sad day, you've not got good news. It's not right that you, a good person, should send the news, to be the one to break the news to David. So he sent another person instead, called a Kushi, and he went and gave the news. In the meantime, Achimath insisted that he wants to go all the time, and Achimath ran a different route, a shorter route, than the Kushi went, and he came ahead of him. Okay? And now the scout, who can see people from a distance, noticed someone running towards him, and he says there's someone coming. So when David heard that, David said, well, must be got good news, because he's on his own. And then the scout saw a second person, and then that message got to David, and David said, well, he's probably also got good news too. And then the scout said, I can see the guy who's running, it looks like the way Achimath runs. That's where we're up to the story. Okay, so David hasn't heard anything yet. Perek Yud Ches, Pasuk Chav Ches.
So Perek
Yud Ches, Pasuk Chav Ches. A copy? Okay. Vayikra Achimath. Achimath arrived, I presume it doesn't say, but right, it must have done, right? Vayikra Achimath, Achimath called out, Vayomer El HaMelech, and he said to the king, Shalom. Shalom means peace. This is what he said to the king, peace. Vayishtachu, and he prostrated himself, LaMelech, to the king, Le'apov, on his face, Outza, to the ground. That's the way people used to greet the king. And he said, he continued to speak, Achimath. Means the first thing he said was Shalom, before he bowed down to the ground. He said first peace, then he bowed down to the ground, and then he continued his talk. And probably that was not the normal way to do things, right? I mean, we haven't seen people do that. Probably first thing you do in the king's presence is bow down to him. But because Achimath wanted to put the king at ease, right? He should know Shalom means not just hi, right? It's true that is an old greeting. Once or so, things are okay. Shalom, things are all right.
But there's also a samik in the middle.
Also what?
A samik?
Yes, there is in between. Well, yes, I mean, good. Thank you for pointing that out. There's a samach in the middle of a pasuk. Right. What's that meant to do? I don't know. Maybe he's thinking of how to say this. He's doing this very slowly. Samach means there's a break, but it's in the middle of a pasuk. Very unusual. And it's not in the middle of the. It's not even the middle of. It's the middle of a story, middle of an idea.
Middle of a sentence.
Right. It's the middle of a sentence. Which means it could be because you have to be brave to tell the king that his son's being killed. It's not an easy task to do, and you doing what men do, procrastinate, right? Or you think a long time about how you're going to get these words out. So while he's got his face on the ground there, he doesn't get up quickly, gets up slowly. Maybe, whatever. Blessed is the Lord your God. Because we won. That's what he's trying to say. Yeah? Asher Siger es ha'anoshim, who, now, lisgor means to close, right? Siger doesn't mean to close, it means to hand over. Right? In the sense, a guy's free to do what he wants. And now he's being handed over, in modern Hebrew, to extradite someone. It's to take them from a country, to put them in prison in your country, is called lahasgir. Okay? So it's the same word, because you now close the guy's freedom. It's the same thing. Your enemies, Siges Ahanoshim, and the men Asher Nosu Es Yadam, who lifted up their hand, Ba'adoni HaMelech. In short, Achimath is saying that God has handed over the men. He hasn't said anything about Avshalom. no hint that Absalom is being killed, just it's clear that we won.
Yes.
Right? That's the point. Those who have risen up against the king have been, what's the word?
Being politically correct.
Yeah, well, he's trying, no, politically correct is not the right word to use. He's trying to be gentle. Right? He doesn't want to break the news. He doesn't want to break the news. So, first of all, David should know we won. That's the point. We won, and the enemies have been controlled. Okay? Vayomer HaMelech, Shalom le'Avshalom. There is peace to the lad Avshalom. Now, is that a statement or a question? David says, look, I hear, yes, we won, but is my son okay?
It's a question.
That's a question.
Well, it looks like a question, but it's not written as a question.
In Hebrew, there's no question.
Yes, there is. You say Hashalom. You say a hey with a chat of patach, and you don't put a dogish in the next letter, and that's a question. In Hebrew, there are questions.
Like in Hebrew, you're not saying, are you going to the kotel? You say, you going to the kotel?
No, you don't.
You get the question. You get
I hear what you're saying, you don't. It's not true. In Hebrew, once there's a question, you say, Hashomer achi anochi? No, you're wrong. The hey is an indication that it's a question. You can do it by doing it like that. You can do it like that, but it's certainly unclear. Right? So you're assuming it's a question because what else is it? Okay? But the normal way of saying a question is saying, hey, at the beginning. That's the way you do it. I'll prove it to you. Be slowly. Shalom le'na'ar le'avshom. Peace to the lad Avshalom. Vayomer Achimat. Achimat doesn't answer directly, because no, there is no peace. I mean, yes, he's rest in peace, but that's not what David wants to know, right? David wants to know if he's alive. Vayomer Achimat. Ro'isi, I saw, Hamon, the multitude, Hagadol, the big multitude, Lishloach et Eved HaMelech, to send the servant of the king, Yoav ve'es avdecha, Yoav and your servant, v'lo yodati ma, and I don't know what. Now, that's like a really confused sentence,
Yes.
right?
Cryptic.
Well, yeah, it's just like weird. Sound like a guy who doesn't know what he wants to say.
It's
He's just sort of, well, I saw Big yesterday, don't know what. Something like that. You know, he's just not talking nonsense, right? Because he really doesn't know what to say.
So why don't you rush to, when you said don't go there, so why are you trying to go?
Because he wants to tell David that we won. He wants David to slowly realize, crap. If I stop trying to answer me, do you understand? I don't want to tell you. You understand? What am I supposed to say? Absalom's dead. I won't tell you Absalom's dead. I can't tell you Absalom's alive.
David HaMelech is a man.
He's a father of his beloved son, who he warned them not to do anything to. You understand? Even though he was a rebel. Just like God loves his children, even though they rebel against him. Right? Fathers love their sons, even though they rebel against him too. And David doesn't want to hear this news. David's going to crack up as soon as he hears this news.
They told David HaMelech that when he was fasting for his little child, the child is dead. He stopped fasting the same second, and he went to go eat, and he took it like a man. What makes you think he can't take it now?
That was a baby.
That's
a baby
barely
who,
had a relationship.
that may have no relation with him. He'd never given him a thing in his life. Right? This was his child. He'd changed his diapers. He'd given his food. He told him to fish. He taught him how to read. He put his tefillah on his bar mitzvah. He bought him his first pair of techeles. Hey? He took him to cheder. He put him in his talis. He taught him Mishnayos. He taught him Gemara. Understand? It's a different story. Anyway, the reality is like me, because you can see what happened to David when he hears about it. Right? He didn't say, oh, okay, what can you do? No. We'll learn to live with it. No, David didn't react like that. No, not at all. Let's try and make sense of it. I saw a lot of people. Means I don't really know. I just saw a lot of people when Lishloach es Eved HaMelech, who was sending the servant to the king. He's not referring to himself. He's referring to the Cushi. Means there was a guy sent with the news. I don't know the news. I don't know the details. I just saw, right, that there was a lot of people and Yoav, Ves Avdecha, and your other servants, and they sent someone with the details. I don't know I just saw. I don't know what they told him. All I know is we won. And I thought I want to come and tell the king. I wasn't the first one to come. So I came and told the king. The details, you hear from the other guy who's coming. He'll tell you the details. Get it? HaMelech. So, means turn aside. Go away. Hisyat Tvakos. Stand at attention over here. Means we want to wait for the next guy. Yisov. So he turned to the side. Amod, and he stood. Interesting. David said Hityatsev, which means to stand at attention. It doesn't say he stood at attention, it just says he stood. There's two words in Hebrew. Amod means to stand. Means when you're not sitting, you're standing, right? But Hityatsev means like that, right? Well, I don't know. V'hine, behold, during this conversation, Akushi Ba, in the meantime, the other guy who's got the bad news, who's going to say the bad news, has arrived. Yoime Hakushi, and the Kushi said, Yisbaser Adoni HaMelech. The king should be informed. Yisbaser from the news. The king should be informed. Ki Shefatcha Hashem Hayoim, that God has judged you this day. Yad Kol HaKomim Alecha, from the hands of all those who have stood up against you. Now he didn't say it clearly either, but it's much more blunt than Achimaad said. Achimaad says HaKadosh Baruch Hu has handed over your enemies. He said Shaftacha, he has judged. Judged means decided who's right and who's wrong. Now when a judge passes judgment, right, those who are right get let off, and those who are bad get what they deserve. Okay, so he's also being a bit gentle, but it's much more clear what's happened.
Right.
Here he has a hey. So now it's very interesting. When he said it the first time, although it could have been said with a question tone, like you suggested, but here he actually makes clear it's a question.
Right.
So probably the first time, he presumed everything's okay, because you said shalom. And you said that God has handed over the enemies into our hand. Well, that sounds like everything's okay. So David assumes, Shalom lana. It is a question, but he's assuming it's more like a rhetorical question. He's okay, right?
Yeah.
Now that's a question, but I've already told you what I think the answer is. But here, he's very suspicious. Because when he asked Achimaat to verify his assumption, Achimaat would answer. Achimaat says, there was a lot of people, and there's another guy with the news. Ask him, right? So when the other guy comes, David is immediately suspicious. And because the other guy said, Shaftacha, God has judged. Is he okay? Le'av shalom? Ayoyme akushi? He didn't say either. Yiyu ka'nar, they should be like the lad, Oyvei Adoni HaMelech, the enemies of my master the king. Means I give the king a blessing, that all the king's enemies should end up like Avshalom. Right? That's what it means, right? I'm blessing the king, all your enemies should end up that way. All those who get up against you to do you evil should end up like that. So that's clear that Avshalom is not being captured, he is being killed. So no one actually said it to David, but you don't have to say it to make it clear. Okay? So I think Achimaat fulfilled his job, which was to break the news slowly. That God already went from being positive about it to being not sure, and then Kushi told him exactly what happened, more or less. Okay, but it's important to learn from this how, you want to break news to people, don't assume they can handle it. However big they are, and however macho they are, people cannot take bad news. Right? You can be the king, and it's very strong, but if somebody you love, you do it slowly. Right? Okay. Magir Gazamelech. Now that usually means to get in a temper. It doesn't mean that over here because he's going to be.
What's his last?
Sorry. V'chol and all asher kamu alecha, all those who get up against you, l'ra'a, to do evil. Right. The same thing should happen to them. Just there's two groups of people: enemies and those who oppose. I'm not sure the difference between the two groups. You could have an enemy who hasn't done anything to you, who threatens. Also, you take it. V'yir Gazamelech. It doesn't really mean to get angry, right? It's unlikely, because who's he going to get angry with? Himself? Maybe.
Yoav.
Yoav? Who told him Yoav killed anybody? What, the Kushi spilled the beans? Doesn't say that your Kushi said, and you should know who did it, right? First of all, how do you know the Kushi knew that Yoav did it? Did Yoav go tell everybody that I killed Absalom? I killed Absalom? No.
No, but
we don't know. Everybody saw? No. Yoav and 10 guys saw. Now, you're assuming. I don't say you're wrong. You're assuming that 10 people don't keep a secret. Right? Yes, I know there's halach in Hilchos Shmuel Salosh, and if 10 people know something, you can assume it gets out. But I don't know. Maybe Yoav swore them to secrecy. They were his armor bearers, don't forget. And you're not meant to tell everything you see in amongst the commander's mess. No, you're supposed to keep it secret. I don't know. I don't know whether David knew. Anyone told David? Maybe David guessed. I don't know. It doesn't say.
Achimaas said like just now. David knows from Achimaas when Achimaas said.
No. No, Yoav sent me. For sure, Yoav was in charge of the army. Yoav sent these two people to give the news, but that Yoav was the one who actually killed Avshalom. I don't know if David ever knew about that. I don't know. Let's look through the book and see if does David find out that Yoav did it. There are indications, but I don't think it's explicit. I don't think it's ever worded
Obviously, it's yours.
Okay, so to you it's obvious. To me it's not obvious, so you're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. I don't know what you gain by telling me your opinion, right? I said that I'm in two minds about it. I hit 2 points. You don't hear 2 points. Fine. Okay, good. I hear what you're saying, but I disagree.
When you have a child, Rabbi.
Oh my gosh.
No, let's.
Yeah. Go on.
When you have a child, right?
Yeah.
In the morning, and when you wake up to go make yourself a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
and you see a mess in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Do you not already know which child is it? Based on the
I
nature.
don't understand. Leif, think about the comparison is zero. There's a battle, right? There's stray bullets. People can get killed all over the place. One of the guys who got killed was Avshalom. Why does it have to be that he got his hair hanging in the tree and Yoav was the one who killed him? Even if we go gentle with it, it could be an accident. People get killed in battle, right? That's all. Yes, I agree with you. If somebody killed him, then it was probably Yoav. That I agree. If somebody disobeyed orders, it was Yoav.
Thank you.
I agree
Yeah,
that.
okay.
But who said anyone disobeyed orders? He could have just got killed.
Right.
He fell off his horse and broke his neck. There's a million ways to die. Right? Okay, let's continue. Vayir Gaz HaMelech, the king was, I don't think it means angry, it means he was shocked. He was greatly affected. I don't know the right word to use. Right? Usually it means angry. I don't think it means that. Vaya'al, and you see also from the continuation, he's not expressing anger. When you're angry, you tear your clothes and hit your head against, you go around and smash somebody's window. Right? You don't do what David did. He was moved, he was shocked, he was shaken. That's the word. Vaya'al, and he went up. Al aliyos hashar, on top of the gateway. That means there was a gate. We know there was a roof on top of the gate, and that means there was a wall. There was the gate to the wall, right? On top of that, it seems there was a building. There was an aliyah, and he went on top of that.
What, is he going to commit suicide?
No. And he cried. He went there to cry. He wanted to be on his own. He wasn't crying in front of everybody else. Right? He's the king, don't forget. He went up, ran off to the room, and he burst out crying. And this is what he said as he was going, or as he was going up the ladder, or as he was walking up and down the room. I don't know, right? Beni, Avshalom, my son Avshalom. Beni, Avshalom, my son Avshalom. Mi yitain. That's really saying if only. Mi yitain, who, if he would give. It means, Ani musi, my death, ani tachtecha, instead of you. If only I would have died instead of you. Avshalom, beni, my son Avshalom. This David is distraught, broken to the core. He'd rather he died instead of Avshalom.
But why is he so moved? Like, it's his son, and he loves his son, but his son, like, completely betrayed him in, like, every way possible. Why is he so...
No, not necessarily. If you remember how we learned the story, it could be that Avshalom didn't want to kill his father. He just wanted to be the next king, and he knew that his father was not going to make him next king. He wanted his father to retire and join some pensioners' kollel where he would compose second half of Tehillim, and Avshalom would run the country. He wouldn't want to kill him.
He would spread...
You know, that was the idea that David wanted to implant Hushai's, put that idea in Avshalom's mind, and maybe Avshalom will go with that.
What about the seed that he planted, like that very, like...
No, I'm not saying Avshalom was a nice guy, right? But I'm just discussing, he betrayed him to the nth degree. No, he just wanted to be king. Anyway, I think the answer is that he was his son and he loved him. Yeah, and fathers love their children. Doesn't make any difference how much they betray them. Fathers don't live the kids don't live the parents like that way. The Gemara says, if someone comes into your house to steal in the middle of the night, they dig a way in, then you're allowed to go without any question. You just shoot them, right? Except one exception. The guy coming in is your father. No. Wrong way around. Yeah. The guy coming in is your father. Right, then you're not allowed to. Why are you allowed to guy who comes into your house at night? Because he's coming in to steal.
Yeah.
He put a lot of effort into this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So he knows that the owner's there, it's in the middle of the night. And the owner might wake up.
Mm-hmm.
What will you do if the owner wakes up? You just run out. No, put all that effort in. What are you going to do if the owner wakes up?
You're gonna try to kill
Well, the owner is going to try and defend his money, right?
Right.
He's not going to just let you steal it just like that. So he might kill you. So obviously the thief, well, not obvious, but in all likelihood the thief has brought a gun along with him to make sure that he gets away with this murder, with this theft, right? So you're a guy coming into your house not just trying to steal, he also is intent to kill you if you stick up for yourself, okay? And therefore you have the right to preempt him and you're right to kill him. Without asking, you have to ask you a question. You can assume he's coming armed and you're allowed to shoot. That's the halacha. A guy comes, you catch someone coming into your, I don't know what that law is. A guy coming into your house in the middle of the night, you're allowed to shoot them without asking any questions. But if it's your father, then you're not allowed to. Why? Not because it's not very easy to kill your father. No. If your father takes out a gun and tries to shoot you, it's mitzvah to kill him, right? No. The reason why you're not allowed to kill him is because he wouldn't kill you. Right? If you stuck up for your money, there's no way he would kill you. And therefore, since he's not coming to kill you, you're not allowed to defend yourself and kill him. But if it's your son, you're allowed to. Mm-hmm. If it's his son, the father is allowed to kill his son because his son would kill him, and therefore the father is allowed to kill his son in self-defense. It means the father would kill his son in self-defense.
Yeah.
But a father wouldn't kill his son just to steal from him. Get it?
Right.
So that's the difference. Yeah. When you'll be a father, you'll know the difference. At the moment, you're not a father, so you know what it means to be a father. Right? You know what it means to be a son. Fathers.
I wanted to say to him, in South Africa, there's many cases, like we have a drug problem in South Africa, epidemic. And these boys steal at home from their own mothers and they wipe out the house. The mothers have to sit with the bag because the son will steal. But if you ask that very same mother, because the friends will say, why don't you take your son out to send him to jail? Or the mother will say, no, it's my son. Yeah, but he's stealing, it's my son, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Okay, good. All right, Gavallich, good. Now you got the Yoav. And now Yoav found out. I mean, someone told Yoav, it was told to Yoav. Hine, behold, HaMelech bocher, the king is crying. Vayis Abel, and he is mourning. Al Avshalom. Now it could be Yoav didn't expect David to be happy, right? No, Yoav doesn't think David will be happy, that's why he was careful about who sends the news. Obviously you've got to break this slowly and David's not going to be happy. But there's a difference between being sad and crying and mourning. Mourning, look, I don't have to be overjoyed, but we won the war. We defeated your enemies. You know, if you hadn't done this, he would have killed you probably. So it bothers Yoav that David is creating this whole atmosphere, which is very negative. Right? So he goes up. But he had to Shiur. Oh, thank you much. I have to stop to go to my meeting. Sorry. Okay, I'm very polished.